following the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they f***ed up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you are a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to f***ing ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement.
Because they were trying to take over the movie.
Yeah.
They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise. The whole thing's crazy.
Did it become clear to you that Blake Lively was the aggressor in this now epic showdown? Was it right after was it when Baldoni dropped the countersuit? Was it when Brian Friedman put up the website with the 170 pages and all the text? Or was it right away when the Times wrote?
Right away. I've always had an intuition about her, and I've always had an intuition about Taylor Swift and like the branding of the nice girl stuff.
These cars aren't moving.
Ready?
Thanks, Cap.
How you doing, Blake?
Blake, you look great.
Kevin.
Guys, watch. Come on, guys. Watch, guys. Come on, guys.
Blake, over the shoulder, Blake. Blake.
No, there's no
You've been following the Justin Baldoni Blake Lively thing, bro. Blake Lively talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds, yeah, they __. Up Ryan's trying to get out of it, now he's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you are a key part of this. This is what you get, though. This is what you get. You're trying to ruin a guy's livelihood by using the Me Too movement because they were trying to take over the movie. They were trying to take over the movie and the whole franchise. He owned the franchise. The whole thing's crazy. What point did it become clear to you that Blake Lively was the aggressor in this now epic showdown? Was it right after was it when Baldoni dropped the countersuit? Was it when Brian Friedman put up the website with the 170 pages and all the texts? Or was it right away when the Times wrote right away? I've always had an intuition about her, and I've always had an intuition about Taylor Swift and like the branding of the nice girl stuff. There's cars on Blake over the shoulder. American Justin Baldoni lawsuit should be ashamed of yourself right now. You know Blake Lively played in a movie that I've watched from the 42nd minute on 50 times, and it's called what is the name of that movie? What is the name of that movie? Now I've watched it so many times. What is the name of that movie? It's Age of Adeline. Okay, I've watched that thing some. Thank you, Kelly. Age of Adeline, right? My favorite movie. Such a great movie with her and Harrison Ford. It's a phenomenal movie. This one here to me, when I think about what happened with Amber Heard and what was the other guy, Johnny Depp. This is such an important story. I know you don't give __. about it, but this is such an important story because if they would have won against him, a guy whose dream was to be a Hollywood actor, producer, director, they could have crushed his career if they would have won, and they tried to do that. We do have it starts with us, so I'm hoping to see you back in the double duty role. I think that there are better people for that one. Justin, I think Blake Lively is ready to direct. That's what I think. So yeah, Justin said he doesn't know if he'd be getting to direct the next one, but perhaps Blake would. Is that something that you would entertain? Oh, absolutely. I think that whoever decides to take charge of the next one would do it justice. You know, it's a lot of people to get the same schedules together again, so we'll see. Oh, absolutely. She's so capable of that. She is a powerhouse. She could do literally anything. Okay, so Joe Rogan really went off this time, and when we say he didn't hold back, we mean it. He just called out Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively in the most brutal way, and now the internet is on fire. We all know Joe's the type to speak his mind, but this time he came for them hard on his podcast, and honestly embarrassing, doesn't even cover it. And here's the kicker, this drama might actually mess with Ryan's whole Deadpool career. Fans online are already talking about whether this could be the beginning of the end for his superhero run. During the Joe Rogan Experience, Joe made it super clear he's 100% siding with Justin Baldoni in this messy legal fight with Ryan and Blake, and the way he called them out brutal. So let's unravel everything he said about Ryan and Blake, known as being like this really sweet, nice guy, and then he's like, all right, he posted the receipts. He's like, oh, remember our tech exchange? How about she told him to come into the dressing room while she was breastfeeding. Then part of the complaint was that he came into the breast room while I was breastfeeding. Like, you literally have a text exchange back and forth issue. We are seeing the Me Too movement literally die. It's taking its last gasping breaths, but it is about to be dead. So essentially what happened is Justin Baldoni purchased the rights to the book. It ends with us. He is the producer, director, and one of the lead actors in it, and when he brought on Blake Lively to play his partner, the co-lead in a movie that is a very heavy topic about domestic violence, she took over every single aspect of the movie. But somebody else who was very connected to this reached out and said, Canis, you're 90% there, you're just missing one thing. And I'm beginning to wonder and listen, full speculation, no proof for him to go that crazy. Did something happen between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively? That's my question. I'm a man, and this is a story that is told through the lens of a woman, and especially when it relates to intimacy scenes and to scenes where there is a mix of intimacy and violence. I wanted to make sure that those scenes had a female gaze as much as I can try to see the world as a woman. I never will be able to. He was great. I mean, he did a really good job at balancing being both, a lead actor in the film and then being a director and a producer, and honestly, the entire crew that he assembled was just so incredible. I mean, everybody in this film was just on the top of their game. It was a really pleasant environment to work in. I never felt like I was on a set, I just felt like I was having a conversation with Blake. And I think you can feel that he basically said Blake trashed her own reputation, and Ryan, same boat. Things aren't looking good. According to Joe, Ryan's trying to back out of the lawsuit now, but people involved are telling him, no, you're in this, you're a key part. Joe also claimed that the couple tried to take over the whole movie, like the entire franchise, and when Justin pushed back, they allegedly used the Me Too movement against him. Let's not forget that the New York Times is being sued. I probably in another life could have been a very good lawyer, or at least one who really enjoyed being a lawyer is what I could say. My client should go right to jail. The son of A is guilty. So it goes on page 2 to say, the New York Times contends that the article and video merely reported facts, yet in the same breath, the New York Times also insists that his defamatory statements are not factual at all, but rather hyperbolic and non-actionable opinion. First and foremost, they were saying, we have fair reporter privilege, but then they also argued that these were just opinions. Well, which is, applause. If it's fair reporter, that means you're sticking to the facts, and if you're saying that you were just being hyperbolic and it's not actionable, then that means that you were not just sticking to the facts, which makes their lawsuit relevant. He said it's wild, but Justin isn't going down without a fight. In fact, he's suing the New York Times and coming in strong, just like Johnny Depp did during his own battle. Joe admired that, saying, Justin's doing it for the boys, standing up instead of backing down. With this one here, to me, when I think about what happened with Amber Heard and what was the other name, Johnny Depp, Johnny Depp, this is such an important story. I know you don't give a about it, but this is such an important story because if they would have won against him, a guy whose dream was to be a Hollywood actor, producer, director, they could have crushed his career if they would have won, and they tried to do that. There was actually text messages where they show that Blake is saying things she compel. I haven't seen Game of Thrones, but she compares herself to Casey. I believe she has dragons. She's like, I have dragons just like Casey. I have Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift. They were doing everything they could to intimidate this guy who is a much smaller actor than Blake Lively, and not Justin Bond. Ryan Reynolds is like the A+ of all Hollywood actors, so yeah, they tried to completely intimidate him. I have absolutely no feelings about this guy, Justin Baldoni. In fact, to be perfectly honest, I reviewed some of his social media and he seems kind of ridiculous with his toxic masculinity lamentations and so on, but that's fine, that's me, so I'm not on his side. But my point is simply, I just don't see it in their incendiary complaint where they're trying to do their best to bash him and the PR team. I don't see that the second link loop closed of, and then here's where they did it. It's just all supposition. They don't have these great texts saying, look what I got placed in the New York Post. Then Joe praised Justin again, saying, most people in Hollywood wouldn't even dare go up against A-listers like Blake and Ryan, but Justin, he's out here holding the ground. And what's really got Joe fired up, the receipts. So get this, Justin Baldoni didn't just speak up, he came prepared. Justin Baldoni and his attorney previously revealed that they would be releasing a website that includes evidence to support their claims against Blake Lively. And they did just that. The website is the lawsuit and info. In it, there is an amended complaint as well as a timeline of relevant events, which includes a full timeline including screenshots, text messages, and emails supporting their claims. The amended complaint has 224 pages and the timeline includes 168 pages of evidence. The timeline of events includes a lot of text messages that have already been released to the public, but it also includes screenshots of text messages that we haven't seen before. The screenshot shows Justin Baldoni worried that Blake Lively doesn't want to meet the intimacy coordinator yet. I know the screenshots is really small, but the text exchange shows Blake asking for Justin's opinion on her take of the rooftop scene. Here's a closer look at the text exchange, and of course you can head over to the website if you want to see the entire timeline, stories of what women go through when they experience TV. She made it a lighthearted thing. She wanted to talk about, oh, wear your florals. And she used it as an opportunity to promote her alcohol brand, which is insane.